With the addition of the brand new Renaissance faction, we have a simple question that needs to be answered. Is the Renaissance faction more powerful than all the other factions? We're gonna have a faction war, starting with the tribal faction featuring the shield guys in the front, clubbers, spear throwers, and stoners, as well as chieftains. And do not forget the bone mages. They're going to deal some damage. All the while in the back is their leader, the mammoth, because, you know, mammoths can lead. Why couldn't a mammoth lead? Over on this side, you have the Renaissance faction with the halberd units, the fencers, the painters. They're gonna do a whole lot. Then you have the balloon archers and the musketeers. You have these cavalry units, as well as the all-powerful Da Vinci tank. Now, here we have an insane fight, but there's one problem. In order to have an equal point value, the tribal faction almost outnumbers the Renaissance faction 2-1. These are equal points, and the battle will commence to see who is more powerful in 3, 2, 1, go. Muskets are shooting, archers are firing, halberds are lowering their halberds, and the spears and the stones come in, and here come the horses moving into the rear of the fields. Now, the balloonists are kind of shooting their own guys, and that's a bit of a problem. Now, here's the thing. These chieftains, are they going to be killing and damaging their own units? The mammoth is going in and bowling over people. Check that out! That is insane. That is so good. So far, it seems like the tribal faction is doing work, but there is one horse guy kind of running around causing havoc. In comes the Da Vinci tank, taking its shots. The mammoth is down. I repeat, the mammoth is down. The Da Vinci tank is moving in on a lot of the blue units, and it's just destroying them. Look at him. He's bowling them over with the cannonballs. It's doing some serious. Oh my gosh, you see that? That was awesome. This Da Vinci tank is this is the whole reason that the Renaissance is going to win. Outnumbered 2-1, it doesn't matter because you have this guy on your side. Now we have an interesting fight. This is the farmer faction, complete with the hay balers in the front hoping to soak up some ranged damage. Then you have farmers behind them with the pitchforks, and then everyone's favorite unit, Frodo and the poor hobbits. Now, they do not really have a whole lot of ranged damage. They do have the Scarecrow in the back acting as the main ranged character, and their cavalry are the Bob Ross pushing the farmer and the apple thrower around on a cart. The other ranged characters are these guys, and they're going to be the linchpin to decide who's going to win this fight or not. And that is the potion sellers. If the potion sellers throw potions at their teammates, no problem. If they're potions at the enemies, they might win. And then taking up the rear here, we have our scythe users, the harvesters. These will be your primary damage dealers here on the farmer side. Will they be able to defeat the Renaissance faction? We're going to find out in 3, 2, 1, go. In move all the melee horses, gunshots, potion sellers making potions in the middle of the melee. Cavalry units moving back in on the scythe users, and those scythe users are going to cut down the horses. That is not good. Da Vinci tank beginning to move in. Whole lot of confusion. Potion sellers making a huge mess here in the middle, but there are a lot of halberd users still alive. Remember, this is equal point value. The Scarecrow King is still in the back doing his thing as the Scarecrows move in. Overall, it seems like there's a lot more blue up than I expected. Is that the potion sellers doing their job? Now, even with the potion sellers, they have one problem, and that problem is the Da Vinci tank. Again, this thing is going to continue to fire into the melee. Scythe users, look how many harvesters are still alive. These guys are durable until cannonballs move in and smack them, and the cannonballs can break. Look, I didn't know that. They smash apart. That is so powerful. Musketeers still firing, still doing some work. Now the Da Vinci tank is moving in to clean up. There are a couple of scarecrows, a couple of crows flying around. Not doing too bad. Da Vinci tank and the Scarecrow's down. Oh, the Scarecrow's down. Again, the Da Vinci tank, guys, is the most powerful thing so far in this game. It wins. It wins every single time. And the ballooners, well, they help too. Now we move on to the Knight faction, and an interesting point, they actually have less units than the Renaissance faction, but again, equal point value. Actually, to be honest, I think the Knights have 10 more points. That's not going to be a factor. We're going to have Knights in the front with their squires, their trusty squires behind them, healers behind those guys, trying to keep them alive, ranged units on the outside and in the rear, useless bards taking up this section over here. We have 4 catapults. I feel these catapults are going to be a major factor in the fight, and then His Royal Majesty, the King, taking up the rear versus our Renaissance faction. Equal point value, but again, the Knights have 10 more points. In 3, 2, 1, go. Cavalry moving in, shots fired, catapults. Oh, the catapults are hitting teammates as well, but look at the destruction those catapults have wrought. There is a jouster in the rear, and the healers are moving back to their king. Oh, the jouster did manage to get one of the catapults down, but there are catapults still alive, guys. Now, what I find fascinating is the healers moved back to their king and not forward to the knights, and the knights got destroyed because of it. Look at all the units still alive. Lots of halberd units, lots of jousters and painters still alive, which is surprising. His Royal Majesty moving in against all the halberd units. Check it out, but in comes the Da Vinci tank to wreak havoc on all this. Musketeers firing, Da Vinci shooting the king in the face. The king is down. The game is over. The Da Vinci tank. Actually, honestly, look how many units left alive. There are a ton of Renaissance units left alive. That Knight faction, not as good as I was hoping. Now we move on to the Ancient faction, and it's actually an exceptionally close fight. 68 units versus 69 units, and 50 points separate these two factions. You have an amazing phalanx of shield bearers, hoplites, and sarisas here, and hopefully all the spears, as you can see, do reach the front. And there's a bunch of spears poking out of these shields. I can't wait to see what they're going to do against those very long halberds. Then you have the Minotaurs, who are just going to charge in, and they're probably going to ruin the phalanx, but that's okay. Then Snake Archers. Snake Archer is going to be causing mayhem on the sides. You have 4 ballistas taking big shots at things. If these guys can take shots at the Da Vinci tank, they're going to win, followed by the King Zeus in the rear. Ancient faction versus the Renaissance faction. Really close fight in 3, 2, 1, go. Cavalry moving in, Minotaurs moving in through their own teammates, snakes being fired. The Minotaurs wreck the front lines of the Renaissance. Oh my goodness, I didn't expect that to happen. Zeus in, taking shots, ballooners doing balloony things. Da Vinci tank doing work, and it seems like the Blues front line has pretty much failed. The ballistas just ruined a bunch of the frontline red units. Zeus taking shots, destroying frontline red units. Now we have the 4 ballistas and Zeus. Zeus has been ballooned, and Zeus is still alive, but he's being ballooned into the sky. The back line of the Renaissance faction is doing a ton of work. The Musketeers, the Balloon Archers, followed by the Da Vinci tank, they're going to be taking down these catapults very quickly, with Zeus being one of the only few units left alive. And no, again, equal points, equal number of units. The Renaissance faction is just too strong. Now it's the Viking units, guys. They outnumber the Renaissance about 30 units. You have your brawlers and your headbearers in the front. The berserkers are going to leap over the front into that giant pile. It's going to be fantastic. In the rear, you have the ice archers, as well as 4 of the longships and the Jarl, the master, the king taking up the rear, and the Valkyries in the sky are going to do some damage on the halberd units. Here we go. Vikings versus Renaissance. Equal points, but the Vikings have more units. In 3, 2, 1, go. Valkyries diving in. Berserkers jumping over into the back line. And then the cavalry charging in. Look at this madness. Look at this madness. Look at this insanity. The Da Vinci tank is already doing work. There are berserkers in amongst the musketeers, and balloon archers are doing insane work on the units. There's a Valkyrie with a balloon on her foot, because why not? Ice archers. There's a bunch of ice archers, guys, and they're doing some serious work. There's a decent chunk of blue, and look at all the blue in the back lines getting the musketeers. Guys, the Vikings might pull this off. Equal point value. There's a lot of Vikings left. There's a lot of Viking archers in the rear left. They're doing an insane amount of work. The Renaissance might have met its maker. In the front, there are a fair bunch of Halberd users here fighting it out if they can. Still way too many Ice Archers, but the Da Vinci tank working on the Berserkers who are killing Musketeers left, right, and center here in the rear. Balloon Archers are being destroyed. Da Vinci tank seems to be one of the last things standing, but look at all those Archers. Will the Da Vinci tank even get close enough to attack those Archers? Berserker jumping in, spinning off the Da Vinci tank. Oh, that's awesome. Guys, we have a problem. It's the Da Vinci tank and a couple Halberd users versus a whole lot of Ice Archers. If those Ice Archers can take shots on the Da Vinci tank, it might be able to slow down enough. There it is. Look, the Ice Archers have the range. They can reach the Da Vinci tank, and it's starting to slow down. It might be the end. This Da Vinci tank is distracted by this one ore user. Point blank, ore user can't die. If the tank can just kill this thing, there you go. Nope, it's still alive. This is why there's a Berserker and an ore user keeping this tank away from the Archers, and the tanks lose. The Ice Archers are how you beat the Da Vinci tank. Now we have the Dynasty. Guys, this is an exactly equal point fight, and there's actually less Dynasty units because of how powerful some of them are. You have Samurai and Monks in the front. You have the Ninjas chilling over here by the Pit of Death. Be afraid of that. Then you have Fireworks Archers, 2 sets of them, 4 Hwachas, 2 Dragons, followed by the King himself, the Monkey King. Can the Dynasty faction take on the Renaissance faction in 3, 2, 1, go? Full speed, Hwachas can't seem to line up, but the front lines are being destroyed, and my fear of the horses going down the hole is guaranteed. The Hwachas did some insane work. The Firework Archers are taking shots. There's a horse in the water over here. Don't drown. Now, will the Hwachas be uncontested and continue to take shots? If those Hwachas line up on the tank, the Da Vinci tank, it could prove bad. Now, the muskets in the back, I forgot about them. We have lots of muskets, guys. Dynasty tank. Firework Archers taking shots. Hwacha taking shots. Where's the Monkey King? Is he gone? A lot of ranged units left, but there are a lot of muskets left. These muskets might be able to sneak in here and deal some damage. Well, unless the Hwachas go uncontested. Da Vinci tank. It's down. This is what the Da Vinci tank looks like. The top comes off? I've never seen that. That is so cool. Musketeers. Guys, you know what killed the Dynasty faction? The map. Look at the Hwachas in the water. The map killed the faction. Oh my god. Here we have the Renaissance faction versus a bunch of secret units. We'll call it the secret unit faction. It's very hard to get secret units, enough of them on the field because of usually how expensive they are. So I've given you some of the cheaper secret units in the front, a handful, as well as the 3 giants in the back, and this size giant looks terrified of what he's about to fight. Here we go, secret units versus the Renaissance faction in 3, 2, 1, go. Giants are moving in. Musketeers and Balloon Archers did some work. Little cavalry units moving in, but the giants, this is where most of the damage is going to be. Can the Ice Giants deal with these massive amounts of units? The Da Vinci tank is firing uncontested. Musketeers firing uncontested, but the giants are still alive. And no matter how many balloons you put into the giants, they're still kicking. This Ice Giant is coming in and wants to wreck the balloon units. The Tree Giant back there is killing the horses. And the Samurai Giant's down. The Ice Giant is down. And just the Tree Giant remains, guys. We're going to have to step this up another notch. Now we have nearly double the point value in secret units versus the Renaissance faction. We added an Artemis in the back, we added some Senseis, some Eulers, a Red Jade character, and cavalry units. And we're gonna see if these guys double the point value. Can they take down the Renaissance faction, or will the secret units fail in doing so? The Artemis in the back actually scares me the most. I think she's going to deal a lot of damage, but I don't know where she's going. Oh, she's going after the ranged units. Oh, the Da Vinci tank. Oh, nope. Yep. Double the damage, guys. Double the points. That was enough. The Da Vinci tank was finally destroyed.